What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. So this video is absolutely everything that I have setup wise. Now I keep getting asked quite a lot about what setup I'm running and to do an updated setup. Majority of this will be the same as the last setup video I'd done, but I thought since there's been so many new faces to the channel, I may as well do an updated one for you. I'm going to skim through everything, so this is going to include my button configuration, it's going to be my Lynds settings, my FOV, my Maxhud configuration as well. Then it'll have the suspension and drivetrain and all that good stuff. And yeah, hopefully you find this useful and can apply it to your own riding as well if you're new to the game, and hopefully it will help you improve. So straight off the bat, here are my kind of button layouts. So to lean, I have it on my left stick on my controller, left and right. The throttle is my right trigger. My brake is my left trigger. This is combined brake, so both front and back brakes at the same time. My rear brake only is my L1 button. My clutch is circle on the PlayStation controller. I do play claw, so it's quite easy for me to reach that circle button whilst I'm playing. To lean my rider forwards or backwards, I use the right stick up and down, and to do hit to the left and right is the right stick as well, both to the left and to the right. For direct lean, I have 50. All of the settings that you see here on the screen, I'm not the best person to ask what it all affects. I was given settings when I first started playing the game by one of my friends, and it is what I have stuck to today, and it serves me really well. Obviously I've won a lot of pro races using it, so if you want a nice setup to begin with and learn the game with, this is the way to go. So direct lean is on 50. I have the box checked for combined brakes, which is my one up here for the left trigger. I have a minimum brake percent of 10%, and I have a maximum brake percent of 100. Now my lean drop down over here, 2% dead zone because I like having quite a lot of control on the bike, 150% linearity. The box checked for smooth, this is for controller players, helps a lot. Press is 60, release is 60, gain is 91, and the force feedback doesn't matter at all really. The rumble doesn't work on my controller either. For the throttle drop down, dead zone of 0, linearity 100, no smoothing on this, press is 0, release is 0, gain is 100. Onto the brake drop down, dead zone 0, linearity 100, smoothing ticked, press is 30, release is 10, gain is 80.1, rear brake 0, 100, smooth, 30 press, 10 release, 88.3 gain. For the clutch, I believe this is all stock, 0 dead zone, 100 linearity, smooth on, 50% press, 5% release, and 100% gain. And then the rider front and back lean, 10% dead zone, 100% linearity, smooth box checked, press is 80%, release is 80%, gain is 100%, and then the final drop down, the left and right lean, I have got, I believe, exactly the same as front and back, which is 10% dead zone, 100% linearity, smooth box checked, 80% press, 80% release, and then 100% gain. Okay, so if we move along to the right, these are just more button configurations. I'm not going to walk through all of these, but if you want to pause it and copy these like for like, please feel free to do so. This one's not as important as the input 1 tab. Input 3, I haven't touched any of this. It's all to do with replay cameras and such. Now for graphics, I run everything maxed out. There are some tracks, like the really high detail tracks, where I'll have to turn things down, but for the most part I just run maxed out settings as so. In the miscellaneous section, nothing important on here at all. I run the correct date format. I know most of you watching this are American, so I apologise for saying that, but I prefer day, month, year, even though you don't actually see it anywhere in game, I don't think. And then my units are on UK rather than US or metric. That just affects things like the units that the fuel and such is displayed in. Over to simulation, this is quite an important screen as well. For my view settings, my FOV is 110. I don't mess around with any behind the scenes documents by turning it up past 110. I see some people running like 120, 130, and that's far too much for my small brain to comprehend. 110 is perfectly fine for me. My tilt is on 0 and my pitch is on 31. What I also do when I get into the game is on your keyboard, if you press Shift and C, then using the arrow buttons on your keyboard, you can press the down arrow and it will move your rider all the way down in the seat. And then if you press Shift C again, you can do exactly the same thing and it'll move your rider all the way back. So it just changes your seating position when you're actually on the track. Now my riding aids I have here, I have Shift Help on, I have automatic clutch on, I have brake help on. Brake help is not the end of the world if you don't have it. It just stops you locking up quite as much. It doesn't actually brake for you by any means. Automatic rider dab, I'm not sure what this one does. I've tried it on and off and I don't notice a difference at all. Maybe you can let me know, maybe you can teach me something. And then automatic tyre change is just when you go back to the pits, it puts a fresh set of tyres on your bike, so you always have as much grip as you can when you go out to the track. So that is all the behind the scenes stuff done there. Now if I go to the garage, I'm just, as you can see on the screen right now, I've got default. Now this is something that I do want to stress to you guys. I don't have like a setup for every single bike and every single track. One thing that I do want to say is that the people that made the OEM bikes in this game done a very, very good job of setting up the suspension for them. So 9 times out of 10, I will run stock everything, but I will show you which options I change for each bike and each track. So one thing I always do is I drop the front tyre pressure down by 1. Doesn't matter if it's on PSI or whatever the other metric is, just drop it down by 1. The suspension you can see is all stock. I haven't touched that at all. Drivetrain, this is all personal preference. I usually run, I think it's 1350 or 1450, something around that. You can experiment with this. Some people like quite short gearing, some people like it quite long. And then finally, if I go to others, on a 250, I will always change the mapping to aggressive. If I'm on a 450, I will change it to mellow. And then the other thing that you can change all the time is if you want the bike to turn really tight, you can have your swing arm length or 0 or 1. If you want it to be a bit more stable in the corners, then you can bump it up to 2. And no matter what bike you're on, no matter what brand it is, if you change those settings, you'll be good to go. And there's a little bit of customization in there as well. There are really, really in-depth suspension guides on YouTube if you do want to get involved in all of this here. But me personally, unless I've been given a setup really to use on a certain track and been told it's good, I will run stock unless someone's helped me out otherwise. And then finally, yeah, let me just save this, even though I've done that. Right, if I go to the track here and I press caps lock for Maxhud, I'll put the Maxhud link in the description as well, so you can install it. In here, what I usually run is timing, so I can see my lap times in the top left. I run the speed, so at the bottom right it should look better than the default in game 1. I run fuel, just so I know how much fuel I've got left. Let me change my speed back to 80. Not speed, sorry. Let me change my timing back to 80. There we go, so it doesn't overlap. I have the map on as well, just in case I crash and I go over a berm, I can see if anybody's coming, for example, don't pull out on the track in front of them. And then finally I have standings as well, so I can see what position I'm in the race. Some people don't run Maxhud just to not get distracted. I like it. I like having all the information that I need on my screen at once, and I find it quite helpful. But overall, I think that covers absolutely everything. Hopefully you've picked something up in there. Hopefully it wasn't too boring for you. And yeah, I just want to say a big thank you for all of the subs as well. Thank you for the 15k, and hopefully we can just keep on growing. I hope that you found something in here useful. Hopefully if you're brand new to the game, you can just use the setup as a whole, and it will just really help you get a solid base going. If you want something a bit more in-depth suspension-wise, there's definitely some very good suspension guides out there, so definitely go and check those out. And that'll do it for me. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever it is you guys are up to, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Got bad shit all up in my mind right now. Fuck it, give me a minute and I'ma let it all out. I don't give a shit about an opinion, be another dimension when I wake up, wake up, wake up. Bitch, it's time to fill the cup. Got no fucking love, I feel so stuck on my luck. Get fucked.